So I am almost done for the evening. I am cleaning up. I had a great day. Sorry. Earplugs just because um, the noise in my head is loud enough as it is. And like any outside noise distracts me even more. So I tend to just tolerate my voices to the best of my ability. Um, for the past 2 or 3 hours, they've been screaming in my head, literally, calling me a stupid B word, telling me to go die. Um, and I felt dizzy. I mean, half the time for the last, like maybe an hour and a half out of the 3 hours that they've been screaming. Plus, they slowed me down so much yesterday, and I was so dizzy yesterday that I couldn't clean up. And it's almost like they deliberately wanted me to have things to do in this evening so that I'd be up late at night, and um, it would interfere with my daughter's sleep schedule and kind of throw us all off for the week. Um, the voices are very, very, very aggressive. I take medications, nothing. I've tried so many. Not to say that I'm giving up, but I've tried just about, I mean, not all of them, but I've tried a good deal, and none of them work. I'm even coupling them up now and taking lamotrigine and risperidone, and they don't work. Um, I've the voices are just so psycho sounding. Um, it's hurtful. It's like it feels like someone's abusing me. So it feels like we're not just one person, like several, and um, almost like they're on shifts, and there are during certain like particular hours there, and I don't know if it's like designated hours because I don't really tend to notice a pattern quite yet, but um, it's like they're switching shifts, and there are particular voices during each shift. And those voices, so let's say it's like a woman's voice that sounds like Britney Spears, and every time that person checks in, you hear Spears' voice. And then it'll be a gentleman who sounds like Ken Barbie, for example, and that whenever he's around, I hear his voice. And it's like they check in and out, like they're on shifts. The voices are constantly, I mean, negative. They are negative. I'm a very upbeat person. Like, this is for my family. I am not the person that I was. I am like the happiest person. And this has been like a 360. Like, I I don't even know what to say. If these were real people, I would have sentenced them to death. Like, it's so insane, this condition. I can't hear half the time the things going on around me. It's dangerous. People can, I mean, someone could be robbing me and I wouldn't know it from the voices in my head. Someone could be in in danger outside and I wouldn't know it. To call, they might be asking us to evacuate. I wouldn't know it. I mean, that's how loud and distracting they are. And it's like, it's such a dangerous condition. Like, you're so vulnerable, and then you're talking to yourself, no one can hear you. Like, when you're just frustrated and you're just like, screw you, like, almost like they're real people. But, you're talking to the voices in your head, and someone might, like, disbelieve you. Like you're really not schizophrenic because they can't hear what you're hearing. so to discredit, your diagnosis, and take it personal as if you're lying to them and that you said something about them and you're like, no, this is really not about you. And then there are days where it's like you're overly sensitive and someone's just in a normal, like, funk. Like, it's like they're not always like that, but it just happens to be a bad day and you're overly sensitive because all day as a schizophrenic, you're hearing very negative, like, just belittling and demeaning things that are just at times belligerent, and derogatory, and just everything disgusting. And by the time you run into someone else who's had also a very bad day, you're just like ready to like cry uncontrollably because it's just overwhelming. And you're not giving anybody any slack because you're just fed up and almost want to be like, you don't even know the half of it, which makes, it destroys your character and it ruins your relationships. Like, this condition is, or it can, it really can, um, and it leaves you vulnerable and isolated and, um, hurt all the time. Like, I want to cry. I'm tired of hearing the voices. They sound psychotic. Like, they sound like terrorists hacked into my head. Um, and they're definitely separate, like, or different entities. I'm not, at all, like, I don't associate myself with them. It's more like we go in, if I were to get into my delusions, I'm having a conversation, as weird as that sounds, with them, but not feeling like I'm taking on that particular identity. Now, I've felt like sensations of like where I feel old, like an old person, or I felt like, young and spunky, or I feel sick and tired. Like, you take on these other personalities, but none where it's like, I'm taking on Britney Spears and Ken, like I had mentioned earlier. I'm not taking on their characters and they're not taking on mine. We're definitely separate. Um, but it's like all day, go die, screaming in my head. And um, I've had an abnormal EEG. I've had, so I mean, that that is my only way of like, that's the only way I am credited for the diagnosis. Aside from that, it's just, um, I'm seeking as many specialists as possible. I want to make sure that, like, from head to toe, I'm literally being checked. I want to know what the underlying issues are, and I want to hear it from medical professionals, and I'm refusing to just allow this to get the best of me. But today has been, it was a great day. It was my cousin's engagement party, which was a lot of fun. But coming home, it was just the voices freaking out as if they were punishing me for having a good time. And that's all they keep saying. Like, I'm not one of them. I'm not a professional. I'm not this. I'm not that. And I just want to say, for anyone who has, like, who's been convinced by the stigmas that, all schizophrenics fit this into this category, um, that's not necessarily true. People who are in their delusions to, you know, to the point that they're not self-aware are really, it's part of their condition. It's beyond their control. For myself, I find myself to be responsible to come forward with it because I don't know if this condition progresses. I don't know. Like, there's not enough research done to give us solid answers. Um, and I voice everything that I hear. I'm very open about it. So to say if ever I you guys hear me saying it, but now I'm no longer accepting medical attention, or I'm, you know, refraining, or I'm what's the word? I'm resisting. Um, that is really when I most need it. So I just want to make that very clear because I am a professional. I love what I do. I love the people that I help, and I have 2 kids, and I just want them to know, hey, life gets hard sometimes, and you have to be open, honest, responsible, and um, and uh, and delegate responsibilities on people if necessary. And this is me delegating to anyone who encounters me or happens to see these videos that, hey, I find you, I'm making you responsible, that if you ever see me and I don't look right, you call a medical professional and you make sure that I'm being taken care of properly and not just ignoring me as if I'm someone crazy. Um, yeah, so that's that. Anyways, I'm just so tired and ready to cry, and I just had to share because I don't know what's going on anymore. But I'm trying to get a hold. I'm trying to get a grip on the situation, and it's like the more I try, the more aggressive the voices get. Just, I'm dizzy right now. I'm like swaying back and forth. This condition is not a joke. Anyways, if you stop by, thank you. Please like and share. Alrighty, have a good night.